Hello everybody. In this video let us discuss about Splunk dashboard, and most importantly let us discuss about the difference between classic dashboard and dashboard studio, right? So as we all know that a classic dashboard is the one, okay? So a classic dashboard is an app where we can build visualizations such as graphs, charts, reports, okay, by using various kinds of inputs. So whatever the inputs we do have, just like time input, text input, drop downs, multi select, okay, so you can always use various kinds of inputs, and from those inputs we can always generate great kinds of visualizations and all by using the particular panels in a classic dashboard, right? So now there is another kind of dashboard which is also called as a dashboard studio, where this dashboard studio is the new way of building Splunk dashboards using a variety of tools for greater customization. So when we consider this dashboard studio over the classic dashboards, we can always use a variety of tools where we can always customize to a greater extent. That is the main difference between the classic dashboard and the dashboard studio. So whatever the customization part is there, you can always customize to a greater extent. So that is the main difference. So hopefully, in the next video I'll be showing you how to create a dashboard studio as well. Okay, so in this video let us see the differences. Okay, so now if you see the actual difference between the classic dashboard and the dashboard studio. Okay, so a classic dashboard supports row column structure. So whenever you build a particular panel in a particular classic dashboard, so it occupies the particular row, right? So it spreads entire row on your particular screen. Okay, so and again if you add another panel into the same row, okay, so it will be split into columns. Okay, so some 3 to 4 columns, 4 different panels in a particular row you can always add as different columns. So basically a classic dashboard supports row column structure, right? Whereas dashboard studio, if you consider, it supports, okay, layout options including absolute layout and grid layout. So two types of layouts will be there in a dashboard studio. One is the absolute layout and the other is the grid layout. The most prominent layout that we use is the absolute layout. So grid layout is not prominently used in the dashboard studio also. So but it supports two types of layouts. Okay, one is the absolute layout and the other is the grid layout, but it doesn't have any row column structure kind of stuff. Okay, that is the thing that you can always remember. And the other thing is that the objects are snapped to row column structure in a classic dashboard. So it fits the exact row column structure. So whatever the panels we add, it fits as we have discussed, okay, as it falls into a particular row. And again if you want to split into columns, we can always do that one. So it will be exactly fitting into the row column structure whatever the classic dashboard supports. Like that you can always build the particular panels in a dashboard. But whereas in a dashboard studio, the objects are snapped to pixel perfect placement. Okay, so you need not, it won't directly go. If you put a particular panel, it won't occupy the entire row, and again if you modify that one and if you put another panel in the same row, it won't split into columns like that. Whatever the pixel, up to which pixel you want, you can always make the particular visualization to that extent itself. Okay, that is the main difference that you can always have. And where this option is available in the dashboard studio, in the absolute layout, not in the grid layout. In the absolute layout you can always have a pixel perfect placement of your particular panels and all. Okay, and again we can always include shapes, different kinds of shapes, icons and images. Okay, all those things we can always use in the particular dashboard studio in the absolute layout. So this is the major difference when it comes to the classic dashboard and the dashboard studio, right? So the third one is we can always modify the width of a particular visualization using the mouse. So whenever you are using a particular classic dashboard, so to the bottom of the dashboard will be having a dot symbol, right? So you can always drag that particular dot symbol. Okay, so where you can modify the width of the particular visualization. You can if you want to modify the width, you can modify like that in the classic dashboard. Okay, that is the way we can always use in the classic dashboard. But in Dashboard Studio, okay, you can always drag, okay, you can always drag or you can always drop or resize the objects, okay, you can always resize the objects or drag and drop, okay, dragging, dropping and resizing of the objects can be done using mouse or keyboard in the absolute layout, okay. So either by mouse or keyboard you can always drag or drop or resize the particular objects, okay, in the absolute layout of the particular Dashboard Studio. So here in the classic dashboard you can simply modify the width, whatever the width is there. So according to the row wise width it will be moving, but in the Dashboard Studio it is not like that. To whatever the pixel you want you can always drag, you can always drop, and you can resize the objects as well, but only in the absolute layout. And again, layout automatically scales dashboards to the size of the browser. This is the important feature in the classic dashboard. This is the useful feature, right? So layout automatically scales dashboard size of the browser. So if you resize the browser, automatically it will be adjusting to the particular size of the browser itself. Okay, so this is the important feature in the beautiful feature in the classic dashboard actually. But in the Dashboard Studio, so by default the absolute layout does not automatically scale dashboard to the size of the browser. Okay, we cannot, if you scale, because it is based on the pixels you are placing, right? Based on the pixels you are placing the particular dashboards and all, or the panels and all. So if you resize the browser, it won't exactly fit to the particular browser. Okay, so still if you want to configure, okay, you can always configure again by adjusting and all, but manually you have to configure. But automatically whenever you change the size of the particular browser, it won't change. Okay, that is the thing that you have to remember. So this feature is very useful. The earlier feature, whatever the classic dashboard is providing, this was very useful, and it is a beautiful feature, we can say, right? And whatever the things that we have discussed regarding the Dashboard Studio right now are related to the absolute layout only. Okay, so now if you consider the grid layout, objects are snapped into rows using grid system. Okay, so objects are fit into the particular grid layout by using a grid system. So how it works actually, the size of the visualization, right? If you place a visualization in a grid system, the size of the visualization in a particular row, okay, so in the grid means it will also be placed in a particular row, okay, in a particular row it will be at equal proportion to the size of the other visualizations. So for example, if we add a new visualization, so whatever the visualizations are there, so it will be fitting to the size equivalent to those other visualizations as well. It will be adjusting all the visualizations to equal size. Okay, so like that it will be doing. So in grid layout you will be having these particular options, but using the absolute layout is useful whenever you are using Dashboard Studio. So all the other features are there, right? So it will be useful for you to use absolute layout in the particular dashboard. Okay, so prominently these are the differences between the classic dashboard and the Dashboard Studio. And again, if you want to see the differences between the absolute layout and the grid layout in the Dashboard Studio, so we do have various options, right? So these options will be they will be supported in absolute layout, and some other things will be supported in the grid layout. So if you see the charts, okay, so charts option, it will be supported, all charts are supported in the absolute layout, okay, and in the grid layout also all charts are supported. But the background color option, okay, only in absolute layout it is supported, whereas in grid layout it is not supported. Okay, that is the thing that you have to remember if you want to change any background color and all. And again, if you want to modify the canvas size and all, if you want to customize the canvas size and all, in absolute layout it is possible, whereas in grid layout it is not possible. And again, if you see the number of visualizations, okay, so you can add any number of visualizations in an absolute layout, but again in grid layout it depends on the width of the visualizations, right? Because why? It will be automatically adjusting whenever you place a particular visualization in the grid layout. Based on the other things, automatically it will be adjusted. So there will be no chance for you to add unlimited visualizations. Okay, so that is the thing over here. So visualizations, there is no limit for absolute layout, but for grid layout depends on the width of the visualizations you can always place. And whatever the different shapes that we can always consider, that we can always add in a particular Dashboard Studio. These shapes, which shapes you can always add in absolute layout, you can always add rectangles, lines, ellipses, okay, all these particular things you can always add to the dashboard, whatever the shape may be. But in grid layout again it is not supported. So in a nutshell, it is somewhat similar to the default dashboard, okay, classic dashboard, just like the grid layout is just like a classic dashboard with some additional features, that's it. But nowhere it is not at par with the absolute layout of the particular dashboard studio, okay, that's what we can always say. And icons, if you see icons option, if you want to place some icons, so in absolute layout you can always choose from default icons, or you can upload from the svg files and all, okay. So like that you can always add the icons and all, but whereas in grid layout again it is not supported. And images, if you want to add in absolute layout, it supports up to 16 MB. You can always add images which are up to 16 MB of size, okay. More than that you cannot add, but up to 16 MB of size you can always add. And again in grid layout it is not supported, right. So these are the various differences, okay. So that we have both for the classic dashboard and the dashboard studio, and again in dashboard studio for absolute layout and the grid layout, these are all the differences, right. Hopefully in the other videos I will be discussing how to create dashboard studio, how to create a dashboard using dashboard studio as well, so that we'll be having a fair idea about that as well. So this is all for this video, and again we will be meeting with another video. Until then, have a great time. Bye bye.